Good day everyone, welcome to my channel Boxing Trash Talk. Here I give my insights, my reviews and my analysis of upcoming fights, especially those fights that interest me, okay? Today our topic is the keys to victory for Amir Khan. Now when developing my keys to victory for Amir Khan, I had to look at the strengths of Amir Khan and also the flaws in his game. And I looked at the strength of Kell Brook. I know Kell Brook is going to be coming with his, his counter punching. He's going to come with his distance control, and he's going to come with his timing, which is going to give him more power. So, looking at the flaws of Amir Khan and his strengths, and look what I believe is the game plan of Kell Brook, which is actually to counter Amir, control distance, and use his timing. To get the best of Amir Khan, I developed the keys of victory for Amir Khan. So here we go. The first key to victory for Amir Khan is his speed. Now, not the speed that he's been using over the years. We understand that when it came to the starting of his career, he overwhelmed all his opponents with his speed and his punching output. Okay, but that has been now, as you fight more, you age more, people begin to realize your style, and they find holes in your game. So that's what happened to Amir Khan after the fight with Garcia. So things have changed a lot then, and many of his coach, including Virgil Hunter, all of them stopped letting Amir Khan move to his right. They, to avoid the left hook, they made him move to the left. And they try to fix the game in a different way. I think it could have been done differently. He didn't need to have to run away from the left hook. He just needed to have his hands placed at the right place, and he needed to be aware of the left hook. Just don't punch, but always watching for that counter. But anyway, let's talk about Amir Khan's speed. Key to victory, number one for Amir Khan against Kell Brook is his speed. But this is what I want him to do with his speed. He should fight in two speeds, because to break timing, you must fight in two speeds. If Kell Brook has timing and distance control, the only way you can break that is fighting in two different speeds. The other thing he should be using his speed for is his 1-2. So he's using two speeds to fight and creating a faster 1-2. I think with that he'll be able to break the counter punching of Kell Brook. Now if he's using the same speed all the time, it takes 2 or 3 rounds, Kell Brook gets used to the speed and he is able to time it. But Amir Khan has to use two speeds in this fight. Now, number two. What is number two? The number two key to victory for Amir Khan is feinting. He's got to learn to feint. And normally Amir Khan would feint once and then he jumps in with his combination. He cannot use that. He needs to use two different types of speed, because what we're trying to defeat here, what we're trying to counter here, is Brook's timing and his counter punching. And Amir Khan can defeat the timing with his speed and the feinting. But the speed has to be two speeds, and he has to feint. Well, if he feints, he must feint and bring Brook to commit into some type of counter so he can see it. So he can see it and then he jumps. He must make Brook react. That means he has to feint, make Brook react, and then he comes in with his 1-2. Now, number three key to victory for Amir Khan is his movement. Now, most of the times we see Amir Khan moving to his left. He's trying to avoid the left hook of the opponent, so he moves to the left. Now, if Amir Khan, the reason I want Amir Khan to move to the right, and I believe is better for him, is we know very well that Kell Brook has got a very, very dangerous left hook. But he needs to take the risk moving to his right towards the left hook, being aware of the left hook, but never give Brook a chance to throw that left hook. And how can he do it? He needs to pepper him with a jab. Pepper him with a jab to the eye. Okay, and that brings me to the fourth key of victory for Amir Khan. Movement to the right and jabbing to the eye. Now, A key to victory is the jabbing. The jabbing is actually concentrating on the eye. You want to bust up that eye. You want that eye to have some type of hurting and some type of damage. So Amir Khan needs to move to his right, and he needs to throw his quick jabs using different speeds, so Brook cannot time the jab, but he must be peppering that eye. He has to pepper Brook's eye, and he has to move. He has to move to the right. Now, if he starts peppering that eye, he's going to take away the left hook. He's going to take away the left hook from Kell Brook. Now, again, the keys to victory that I went over is his speed. He must use his speeds in two different speeds. He must learn to feint, and if he uses the two different speeds and feints, then he can defeat the counter punching and the timing of Kell Brook. But now to attack Kell Brook, he has to use a 1-2. He must use his 1-2, and he has to jab, moving to the right, concentrating on the eye. Amir Khan must come out as a key. One of the key of victory is to concentrate on the eye with his jab and his 1-2, jab and 1-2. But he must feint in between so that Kell Brook cannot read him to counter him or to time him. Now, that was 4. The last key to victory for Amir Khan, and it's very important, is to gain respect early in the fight. He must gain respect early in the fight. And how is he going to do that? He's going to have to sit on one of his 1-2. He must bring Kell Brook to respect his power. I believe Amir Khan has a lot of power, and I believe that Terence Crawford will teach him and give him tips on how to use different speeds and to be able to sit on that 1-2 to hurt Kell Brook. If he does not gain respect for Kell Brook, it can be a very long night for Amir Khan. He's going to have to be in his bicycle running all night. And the only way he can make Kell Brook use a more cautious approach in his attack is he must gain respect in the first 2 rounds. Amir Khan must make sure that he gains respect in the first 2 rounds. If he is able to gain respect in the first 2 rounds with sitting on a 1-2, then the fight can go his way. But if he makes Kell Brook do not respect him, that can be a very dangerous and long night for Amir Khan. Now, those were my 5 keys to victory. Here it is, his speed. He must use speed in a different way. He must use 2 speeds. He must feint. Okay. He should not throw more than a 1-2 or a 1-2-3 in a combination. Never more than that. And the reason why I believe Amir Khan should not throw more than a 1-2 or a 3, as we can see when he throws his 5-6 punch combination, 2 things happen. 1, he leaves himself open for somebody to punch in between and counter him. And 2, he needs a break. After he throws those punches, he needs one little breath. And that one little breath causes him to move out. He throws those combinations, he moves out, and then he puts his hands up and allow the opponent to come in and throw a couple of punches before he can start another offense. Amir Khan cannot do that in this fight. He needs to save his energy, and the best conditioned guy will stand a good chance. We know Kell Brook can fade and he can quit, but Amir Khan needs to get him there. Now, if Amir Khan concentrates on feinting and using 2 speeds, concentrating on that eye, sitting on his punches every once in a while to gain that respect. Now, since Amir Khan is only going to be throwing a 1-2 or a 1-2-3, he should be able to circle out and be ready to become the counter puncher by showing Kell Brook that he's ready to punch again. And at the same time, hopefully in the first 2 rounds, Amir Khan can sit on some punches and gain the respect of Kell Brook. Now he is able to gain the respect. So that's something that Amir Khan hasn't done for a long time, is gain respect through his punching power. He's fixed his arm, his right hand, or whatever he had operated on. He should be strong and be able to really gain respect to a good, a good 1-2. Now, let's assume things go Amir Khan's way. He was able to gain the respect in the first or the second round with a strong 1-2. Now he can stick to the game plan that I just designed, moving to the right, peppering the eye of Kell Brook, making Kell Brook cautious of coming in, using different speeds so Kell Brook cannot read him or time him. and this fight can go, it can go good in Amir Khan's favor. Now, those are my 5 keys to victory. And now one other important thing, I mean, Amir Khan should come out there looking at that eye, working on the eye, and never to throw more than a 1-2 combination and sitting on his punches. Now, if he does those things, he's going to be, you know, he'll be good. Now, Amir Khan has flaws. You know, he has a lot of flaws in this game. We know Kell Brook is pretty solid. Kell Brook is a solid fighter. Now, when Kell Brook comes to fight, I mean, we know he is coming to fight. I think it depends on Kell Brook's attitude. If Kell Brook does not respect Amir, or does not come in there with a little respect and think of his game plan, it can be a bad night for him. You cannot have hate and jealousy being part of your, you know, part of the reason of you coming into that fight. Now, we know that Brook has a very good left hook, but if Amir Khan moves to the right and watch for the hook, he can be better prepared in this fight. Now, we know for sure, you know, like I said before, you know, Brook is coming to fight, and hopefully with the right attitude. Now, this fight is very important to Khan. It's very, very important because, you know, important to both of them, but especially to Khan, because, you know, this is a fight that wasn't happening for a long time. I think he did the right thing by waiting. You know, if you know that fight was always there was no reason why not to wait. You know, we can argue that point, but I believe Amir Khan did the right thing. He waited. Now, he did his career, and he knew that fight was there, and it's not a bad time to take it. Now look at Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is 35, but we're not saying he's over the hill. We actually think Terence Crawford is getting better. So no one should ever think that these guys are over the hill. But if we look at the last 2 fights of Amir Khan, and we look at the last 2 fights of Kell Brook, there is 2 different stages there. You know, I think Amir Khan was just trying to make, you know, stay busy, where Kell Brook was still out there trying to do something. Now, for both of them, it is important because they, you know, they can cement their legacy. I mean, you know, to win that that local, you know, England-born matchup, as to say, you know, that bragging rights. You can be able to cement your legacy by defeating the other. But for Amir Khan, it is going to be very, very important because he didn't have a bad career, and neither did Brook. In fact, they had very, very good careers, you must say, from both of them. So winning is going to be very important for them, you know. And I think Amir Khan said it the best, and it's something that I believed in very, very much so, that sometimes a grudge match or a bragging right match is more important than a title fight. And this fight will prove that. This fight will prove that the biggest title that can be on the line is your, you know, is that bragging rights, and it is that grudge match, to win that grudge match. It is very, very important. To bring me back to the old days of boxing, the old days of boxing was to win. It was to take on the best challenges. And, you know, you had not so many titles, so fighting and going out there and doing your best became very, very important. The title was there, but winning became important. And this match, if both of them have the right attitude, you know, remember, Amir Khan is playing with that retirement rumor circulating in his head. Kell Brook wants to win this fight because of jealousy or whatever's out there. He actually has no right to, but I'll explain that later. But we know Kell Brook can quit if things doesn't go his way, and we know Amir Khan, you know, yes, you know, he can't take a punch as he should, but also that rumor in his head, you know, playing in his head about, well, the thought in his head about retiring. Those are the only things that can destroy this fight. Is those things. Amir Khan's attitude in the fight, and you know, whether he's going to dig deep when he has to, and if Kell Brook is willing to do the same, or he's not going to quit when it doesn't go his way. But putting that aside, I believe they're fighting at the right time. It's good that the fight is happening, and I think it's going to be a great fight. Now, No, I mean, you know, and Amir Khan must, in this fight, Amir Khan must gain respect early. He must, you know, keep Brook at a distance. If it's going to be a long fight, keep Brook at the distance at least for 8 rounds. You understand? And he must win those 8 rounds and force Brook, you know, to do more in the last couple of rounds. Now, I honestly believe this fight can get to the point where Brook will quit. Now, I know you all will argue this point that Brook doesn't quit. I believe he does, and the reason why I believe, you know, Brook be doing very, very good in fights. He be doing very good. You know, I know 2 fights, especially I think the Errol Spence fight and the Golovkin fight. Yes, Golovkin fight was a total mismatch there. He shouldn't have done that. But especially in the Errol Spence fight, it shows that when things are not going his way, he actually gives up. When he has what it takes, he must believe in himself. He has what it takes to win fights and win these tough fights. But for something, there's some little thing in his head that, you know, makes him turn away, and you can tell from his attitude. He reminds me of a Miguel Cotto. When things are going Cotto's way, he is great. But the minute you see Miguel Cotto start doing that dance, you know, he start dancing around the ring, you know the other guy is getting the better of him, and he is just going to try to control what happens. Okay? Now, if Amir Khan is able to break Kell's Brook will, then it will be naturally, you know, it can be a short night. Now, and he can break that will. He can break that will by peppering that eye, make Kell Brook worry about that eye. When Kell Brook has to worry about something, he normally will quit. Now again, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments about me saying Kell Brook quits. You know, you have to look. You have to look and see that sometimes you have to dig deep. Now, don't be a boxer if you're not prepared to dig deep. It's part of the fighting game. So you must be prepared. And the truth is to believe in yourself. He was never putting himself in danger to push harder, because he does have what it takes. He is sometimes very close, you understand, to overcoming the hardship in the fight, and he kind of gives up. Now again, with me predicting the winner of this fight, I am biased, you know, but it's great to be honest and to say I am biased. I do have some connection to Amir Khan, you know, I like the way he fights, but even with all his flaws, I respect what he did in the ring. And I respect that he was successful, where Brook is jealous of that. He shouldn't be jealous, because, you know, this is a fighting game, this is a hurting game. And there are boxers that box 20 years, train for 20 years, and they get hurt and they make nothing of themselves or don't be successful. We need to appreciate those that put their years in and got lucky and was able to do something and make money. There's no way a boxer trains for 20 years to fail in his career and wasn't able to do something out of it. Kell Brook, you should be happy you did well. Amir Khan, you should be happy you did well. And there's no reason there for any type of jealousy. Brook, you should be happy for Amir Khan, and Amir Khan, you should be happy for Brook, because you both did well. You made some money. Many boxers cannot say that. And they've trained longer, you know, many have trained maybe even longer than you did. Now, I feel the jealousy that Brook is showing should not be there. It should not be there. There should be appreciation on both sides. Now, you know, for a good example of that is Floyd Mayweather. Like him, don't like him, whatever. Everyone should be proud of what Floyd Mayweather did. He should be given all the respect for what he did. You know, winning titles is one. Once you've accomplished that, it's a hurt game. Boxing is a hurt game. And your dream is to win a title and to do great. And when you've done it all, in the end, boxing is still a business. It must be a business for those guys that get hit in their head every day. Now you know, they get hit in the head almost every day. Not only in the ring, but, you know, in the sparring. You know, there's a lot of sparring that happens. There's a lot of hit that hits those heads. We all need to appreciate those that do well and support them, watch their fights. I try to watch as many fights as I can. because I understand the hard game of sport and the sport of boxing. But I again I think I am biased when I say this. I say this because I have some connection with Amir Khan by thinking, I think his style will do well. Now, by me accepting some type of biasness, I also accept the fact that Kell Brook is a very good fighter. I have said over and over, Kell Brook is a very good fighter, and he actually has, I believe he has the edge in this fight because he has less flaws, and he has the advantage in this fight. I will, however, pick Amir Khan. Now, I'm not picking Amir Khan because I'm biased in that I believe that Amir Khan, being with Bo Mack and Terence Crawford, have learned a little bit enough to give him that edge. I believe, Amir Khan feeling comfortable with Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford pinpointing to him what mistakes he makes. I think Amir Khan will respect those criticism and work on it. Now, they cannot do miracles with Amir Khan, but I do believe that Amir Khan is coming into this fight more prepared. And because of his attitude, he's not jealous. He's coming actually to win and to have this bragging rights and to cement his legacy. So I think that's what gives him the advantage, not my biasness. Now, in bias, you can be biased and still give a good commentary about the fight. But I like to think that that when I do, there's always somebody that you want to win, and there's somebody that are going to win. In this case, I am biased, but I also know that even though Kell Brook has the advantage in this fight, the unseen of what Amir Khan can do can win him this fight. But again, it can go anywhere. It can go anyway. Let me know what you all think. I want a lot of comments. I like to hear comments. I like to see what you all are thinking. All right, and let me know what you think about my prediction. Okay, and I want to know your prediction too. Thank you all, and please subscribe to my channel. I will have a lot of videos more coming out. My next video is going to be talking about Anthony Joshua and his rematch with Usyk. That's a game changer there. There's a lot of controversies about that one, but I believe Joshua is making the biggest mistake of his life and his boxing career. But until then, thank you all for watching my channel. Please subscribe.